Hey guys, little observation wanted to share. Ran 23 miles today. It started out a dry run. It wasn't raining. I started out with my newer Brooks Glycerin 16s, probably pushing 200 miles on these. I think I got them last month. I'll have to look at my Garmin app. I think it tracks the number of miles, but these things are fantastic. I also put on a second pair of shoes, so it did rain part of the way through the long run, and so I stopped and put on a pair of dry socks and dry shoes, and so I put on these my next newest pair beneath the Glycerin 16s. These are Glycerin 15s, and so you just kind of want to do a comparison here of some of the material. See if I can get in here and actually get a good look at this. So this material, you know, as I look a little bit closer at this, it's more of a gosh, I don't even know how to describe it, or maybe a rubber material, but compared to this softer material with this, I think it's called 3D stretch print, you could see it covers the shoe to but not entirely, whereas this exterior material covers the entire shoe, spans the entire shoe, you know, front, back, and it breathes really well. So a couple observations I noticed. So I had these shoes on, and it rained, and I got soaking wet, and they were actually fantastic. They were great. I really didn't need to change them out, but it stopped raining. I thought, well, I'm gonna swing by to get some water, and I might as well put on a pair of dry shoes, dry socks. I put these on, and I felt like I was carrying water with me. It rained a little bit. It rained a little bit again, and then of course running through puddles and whatnot, and then also just the sweat seemed to collect in my shoe, and by the time I finished, I could, you know, I was squashing. I could. The shoes are squeaking with every stride. Whereas these things were sopping wet, and I was stomping through puddles and you know, running through ankle high water, and they didn't retain water. You know, coupled with my shoes, I had on Thorlo pad, or I'm sorry, coupled with my socks, I had on Thorlo pad socks. And so the other thing I really like about these is you can see here this material. Let me see if I can get in here. This material, it connects completely to the shoe throughout the entire inside, and so it's almost like a sock inside and whatever kind of material it is, it's pretty amazing. It doesn't absorb, or at least doesn't carry water. This is more seems to be a little more spongy, and there's also separation between the shoe. It looks like it's kind of connected by, you know, almost like a little bit of a button. See how I can poke my fingers here? It's just kind of sewn into the side, kind of a strap. So the evolution of, I mean, I love Brooks shoes. Don't get me wrong, Brooks, I'm not beating you guys up. Matter of fact, I'm saying these things are spot on. I love them. I put them through the test today. I put, you know, most current model, and then the most current model beneath that through the test. And I've even got some other, here's a set of 14s. You can kind of see the evolution of this 3D print material, how you know, it covers the shoe, and I have a tendency to poke through. I got some pretty fat feet, Flintstone feet, and they kind of poke through, or at least they stretch this part here where the little toe is. They tend to push that outward on well, at least one side. And this sort of plastic 3D print material, I was really excited about it when these first came out, these 14s, and I still like the shoe. Still got a little bit of tread on these. They're I didn't put nearly as many miles on them, but then going back here, I got a set of 12s, and you can see again pushing through this side here, that part busting out. They also tend to stretch a little bit more. All of these, the 12, 13, 14, even the 15s, that was something I really noticed with these 15s, was I had to stop. Maybe it was had a lot to do with the water retention, but I had to stop and lace up the shoes, tighten up the shoes, and adjust them, because they seem to be and I'm pretty routine when it comes to lacing up my shoes. I put them on the same way every time. Whereas with these things, these 16s, they must have done something to the laces too. Brooks, you guys do something? You get some new lace technology? I think maybe you hooked up with some aliens or something, because this shoe just hits the spot. I really love it, and I think that all of these things, they've kind of come together with just the perfect, you can see these almost all-terrain stuff up front here, for all weather. Let's see if I can get zoomed in there. That thicker rubber piece, I have a tendency to bust through there too. And then the side here, it's just, it doesn't stretch, it doesn't widen, and when you tie the shoe, it stays tied. And from the out of the box, I put it on and it fit perfect, and I ran and it fit the same way, and then 100, 200 miles later, it still feels the same way. So I'm gonna give me another pair of these for sure. And I've also had a number of people ask, what do you recommend for shoes? And I always tell them, Brooks, these are for me, these Glycerins, but I also recommend going to a professional and have them look at your stride, your gait, and all that, and find the right brand, find the right shoe. But at least I tend to be, or I am absolutely partial to Brooks running shoes. So anyway, wanted to share that with you, just kind of in a nutshell. These things, material-wise, they really hit the nail on the head with these Glycerin 16s, and so I love them. I'm gonna get a second pair, and that way I don't blow through these too quickly. And always good to have more than one training pair of shoes. So anyway, just wanted to share. Happy Sunday. Cheers.